How you doing, Mastermind?
I'm cool.
Couple questions for you.
All right, go ahead.
I was introduced to hip hop through breakdancing. I saw it downtown at Eaton Center at a young age. I just was immediately enamored with it. And I lived uptown. I lived in Finch and Bayview area. In that area, it was like, you wouldn't, it wasn't like there was a lot of hip hop going on. But one day I happened to be at a school park. I heard somebody blasting hip hop breakdance music at the time, I guess it was known for, on his radio. And I went out, I was like, yo, where do you get this? Where do you find this? And he told me about a radio show, Saturday afternoons, 1 to 4 on 88.1. That weekend, I tried finding the station, and it was a low wattage station. I think it only had 50 watts back in like 84 or something like that, 85. I had to be out in the backyard on my parents' deck with the antenna and an extra clothes hanger or whatever just to get some reception. And I started recording, and it became a religious thing. So a few weeks went by, and finally you realize that the host of this show is a guy named Ron Nelson. The show is called Fantastic Voyage. My parents knew Saturdays 1 to 4. I'm not going with you guys to shop. I'm not leaving out. You'll find me either out on the deck or in the back room or wherever I could get reception to listen to this 3-hour hip hop radio show. And it really not only solidified my love for the music, but it made me really interested in doing radio.
They give you that liberty. They don't say, here, go play what you want, break new records, do specials on certain groups and things like that, do whatever you want. Here they've given me that freedom, and I really appreciate Energy 108 for letting me do that.
I went to my first concert because of that radio show. I won tickets to see LL Cool J at Concert Hall from Ron's show. And so I had to go down there to pick the tickets up. And so I went down there, and I don't know if I picked them up from him directly or if I had to pick them up from the station or whoever, but I ended up going. So I found out where the station was, and it was in the bowels of Ryerson University, and he had to go in and down hallways into the basement, and it was so cool because it was graffiti written on the walls and in the bathrooms, and people would just tag the place. It was so cool. And Ron being the host, I was a huge fan of his, just as a listener. After I found these record stores and I started buying records, I mustered up enough courage to go down there to meet him one day, and I had him autograph my record. I was shook. I was so, like, you're meeting your hero almost, you know what I mean? And Ron really was that for me back then, because again, he was providing something no one else was providing for people that loved hip hop.